Hi, my name is Ivan Khan, and I'm one of the co-founders here at CrowdCreate. Today, I'm going to be walking you through a little bit about CrowdCreate and how we work with crypto influencers. So a little background about us. We are CrowdCreate. We've helped about 100 plus successful projects over the past 7 years raise over $133 million. And how do we do that? It's connecting projects with the right influencers. It could be the right investors, but basically, we're the fastest way to connect you, your project, to a strategic partner that can take your company to that next level. When we create content, what we're trying to do and our main core objectives here is to create evergreen content that lives on forever. So we're not here just to create content that's, a one-time for just a single click or a single view. It's actually to create content that's evergreen, that will live on YouTube, live on these social channels, through SEO optimized titles and descriptions so that it can be discoverable, because you don't want to just focus on a content that's watched once, but something that people will be searching for in the industry. The second objective is to come across educational. As an educational content piece, this will help educate people looking for, if it's specific topics around DeFi, if it's around NFTs, whatever it may be. These are the types of content that add more value to viewers rather than, this is, one token that's going to be, the next big token. It's teaching the audience about topics that are relevant to your industry. And finally, this is all being done to get visibility and exposure. The one thing that projects need the most right now is how do you get above all of that? People call it traffic, people call it, buzz, but how do you get above what everybody else is talking about? And you need that visibility and exposure. And specifically today, I'll be talking about influencers. So let me break it down to anyone who's not familiar with the industry, but I wanted to share some of the influencers that we already are working closely with. So these are influencers that we regularly send projects to. We have good relationships with them. I do have to say a disclaimer here that ultimately, because these influencers are in charge of their own content and audience, they also have a right to refuse projects. And, what we do is we put you and your project in front of them, but there's no guarantees here. We have worked with every single influencer here on the screen. But again, ultimately, if it doesn't agree with one of the influencers' beliefs, or they're working with another project that they signed exclusivity for, they won't be able to work with your project. That being said, we've broken down the influencers into 3 tiers. This is specific to the crypto industry, but you can see here, tier 1. This constitutes influencers who are well known in the industry, meaning if someone says anything about crypto, you immediately associate these influencers with the industry, and they're also well known. So BitBoy Crypto is not the only one in our network, but as of right now, BitBoy Crypto is taking on projects right now. Many of the other tier ones, either like Pump, have decided to no longer create content, or they're just booked up all the way until the end of the year. So as of right now, these are the influencers that are available to make content. And I'll explain what these tiers are. So tier 1, like I said, these are notable, influential thought leaders. It doesn't necessarily have to be an influencer. This could also be funds channels like Multicoin. It could be Laura Shin's podcast, Unchained, but these are the who's who in the industry. Tier 2, these are true influencers who have a name and a valuable and authentic audience. Not as well known as the tier 1s, and not necessarily just because of subscribers, but because of the projects they've worked with in the past. So I can go ahead and share some of these. So BitBoy Crypto, you can see here, he has about 1.4 million followers. Some of his views are over 100,000 views on his streamed content. So not only does he command a large audience, but it's also a brand name. Everybody knows who BitBoy Crypto is. On to a tier 2. So like I was saying earlier, these are influencers that, are notable in the space, but they also carry a very legitimate and strong audience. You can see from Voscoin, he's worked with some of the bigger projects. He has a large subscriber list, but he gets regularly over 15 to 20K views on each one of his videos. Some of them have spiked above, but you can see here, his content is legitimate and he has the engagement. Another one is Crypto Wendy O. So Crypto Wendy O, we work with regularly. She actually posted a content piece about Abra, which is one of our projects that we're working on. See if I can find it here. Let's see. I don't see it here, but if you search under content, you should be able to see this project show up. But she's also a notable influencer because she was featured on Washington Post. So she has a very authentic audience, and you make a video with her, it's clear to see what types of videos that she creates. So when you make a video with her, you know what to expect. But our audience, our tier 2 influencers include Professor Crypto, Satoshi Stacker, Crypto Crow, Crypto Knots, and then moving on to tier 3. So tier 3 influencer, many of them will be supplemented, let's say with, it could be bots, it could be purchase views. They don't necessarily represent the most authentic audiences, but they do command, a large amount of views. So you can even I'll share some of the examples here. They're usually hovering about 100,000 subscribers and less. But you can see here, sometimes the comments are not the most authentic. Some of them are supplemented, by bots. Sometimes they're just voiceovers. So you don't actually have a person representing the brand. There are a lot of these types of, some of them do have a brand, but they do gather a lot of visibility, but they're not the name brand influencer, and they don't have as authentic of a following. So you will get views, you will get visibility. You also do get, SEO rank, but you're not going to tap into an authentic audience like a tier 1 or tier 2. So when you work with us at CrowdCreate, you'll actually be selecting and you approve these influencers prior to a video being made. So I'll show you what it looks like in our backend, but working with CrowdCreate, we're 100% transparent on the videos that they create and also the influencers that you work with. Here's an example of some of our workflow on one of our clients. You can see here, we use everything. We use Kanban boards. So it goes through these different stages. Every client, every influencer is approved by you. So you can drag and drop it over from the for approval to approved. And we manage the end-to-end production. So you can see here, there are a lot of influencers in production right now. I'll show you more details on what this entails, but you can see here they're in production if there's any revisions, and if finally once it's published and it's marked complete. But our team will manage that full end-to-end production management. For every video that we create, we provide the influencers with what we call a production checklist. This means that every single video that they create, it will and must cover all these talking points, call to actions, optional talking points, visual guidelines, watch outs. These are all best practices that we've learned over the years. We spend a lot of time here because the content that they create represents your brand. It is critical and important to make sure they get it right. By giving them a production checklist like this is about 6 pages. Yes, it's a lot of content, but it reduces the amount of revisions and mistakes the influencers make. So this is very important. Now, going back to the influencers of the different tiers, tier 1, tier 2 will not have any problem creating content that matches the entire production checklist. Tier 3, on the other hand, may. These are tier 3 influencers that are not, some of them are not authentic, and they will just be more around getting visibility about your project. Other caveats here are if the influencer creates content that is streaming content only, they also will not be able to cover all the talking points that you wish to. So always double check, who those influencers are, what kind of content they're creating before sending a video their way. If you have any questions, please ask, the CrowdCreate team member that's working on your account, and they will clarify before any content is made by the influencer. But I hope this clears everything up. Like I said, at CrowdCreate, we are 100% transparent with the influencers that we work with and the content they create. There are no guarantees when it comes to influencers, but what you can do is you can use our framework to make sure that if the influencer is making content for your project, they're getting the description right, they're getting the links correct. And if possible, we recommend using trackable links. And those trackable links provided to any influencer allows you to track their metrics, KPIs, and how well the content is being received by their audience. Thank you.